Many don't understand that one of the biggest, most valuable key strategies to help you gain followers on Instagram is consistency. Stop me if you heard this before, but it's true. Without consistency as a part of your content strategy, you'll find it much more difficult to grow. But why is that? We're going to explore that from our own experiences. So let's get into it today as we help you step your gram up on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable. How does consistency play in gaining followers? And how do you stay consistent with your posting schedule?
Great question. You are right, though. Consistency is everything. I feel like when people ask us in the comments and we sort of respond back, whether it's Instagram or on YouTube, about consistency, what are the most important things you can do? It's almost like it almost sounds generic, but it's arguably the most important thing. And the quickest, I think, this personally, I'll see what you guys all think, but basically the importance, the reason why it's important is expectation.
Yeah.
So setting an expectation, it's like a television show back in the day in the 90s when you used to, hey, this main show was on at 8:30. You knew it was going to be on. You knew it was going to be there. It was going to show up every day. And it's the same with social. If people can't rely on you, they're a little less inclined to follow or to really engage with your content. And they don't really care, because if you're just sporadically posting, then you're not really giving them anything to look forward to or that they can count on, particularly if it's, whatever the niche is, particularly if it's more value-driven content, which is something that the four of us all here really focus on. That's something that's really important to everything that we do. So I think that would probably be the primary.
Yeah, I think in the end, it's almost like, if we put it into like an analogy, it's like going to the gym. So it's like, if you need to put in the reps, you need to put in the reps to understand, one, to grow, to hit your goals, and generally speaking. But if you don't try things for a consistent period of time, you'll never know what's working and what's not working. So if I went to the gym for 2 weeks and I was like, listen, man, I don't got biceps now. I worked out 8 times and somehow the biceps are here. It's not working. You need to understand and refine and refine and refine. And that only comes with volume. You need to repeat and do things multiple times over and over again, so that you can start understanding, like, okay, when I do this, when I post a carousel, it seems like I'm getting more saves, than when I do. So let me try doing that for a little bit, or leaning in. But if you're just, sporadically going to the gym or sporadically posting, you're not going to see the results that you want. So that consistency is key with everything in life. You consistently save in order to purchase a home. All these things are like, you need to do the action over and over and over again, so that, one, you can get the result you want, but refine along the way if you're not getting the results that you want. So
I love the fact that you use that analogy with the gym, because I like to joke around and say it doesn't matter what gains you're going for, whether it's muscles or followers, you got to put in those reps. So I love that analogy with the gym.
Hey, love it.
Also.
Yep.
So Meagen, I got to ask you as well, in regards to this whole concept of consistency. What role does consistency play in your own strategy towards gaining followers, and how do you stay consistent with your own posting schedule?
Yeah, so I think that it's important to note that consistency is going to look different for everybody, and consistency does not mean every single day, multiple times a day, right? Sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, consistent, I have to show up all the time, and that's not true. Your schedule and your consistent will be different from mine, be different from everybody here on the screen, be different from another business that you know or brand. We're all different based on our goals and what's actually something we can stick to, because we don't want to be consistent for, a week. We stick to that schedule, that strategy, and then next week something happens and we're unable to. We have to have the back end, the strategy, the system set in place to allow us to be able to stay consistent with what we have set for ourselves. And the reason why, somebody who shows up 3 times a week and then somebody that shows up 7 times a week both can be successful is because, like it was already stated here, it's about training your people. Like, they can rely on you and your algorithm, so it can rely on you to show up. And I like to think of like the compound effect, kind of going back to the gym analogy there. And the Compound Effect is a book by Darren Hardy, and it really goes into play for everything in life. The more you show up, the more momentum you're going to get, and the better you're going to get, and the more wins you're going to have. And you know what? The more losses, but you're going to learn from them, right? So you're going to be able to analyze, just like Tiffany was saying, and you can really take all of that and run even more. You'll get better at it. You'll get faster at it. You'll be able to up that consistency a little bit more. So for myself, when it comes to sticking to my schedule, it's been different throughout many different parts of my journey. And in the beginning, it was a lot more frequent. I believe that when you're first starting out, you've got to really show people, I've got some stuff here. And again, I don't say that to scare people who are like, oh, I'm just starting, I can't. Like, that's okay. Start with what you can do. But if you can push yourself a little bit further, you want to just do a little bit more in the beginning so you can really train your people and have that bank of content. But for myself, right now, I'm staying pretty consistent with about 4 times a week. Yes, definitely posting. And then that 5th one is kind of like maybe I'll show up if I have it, if I have that great idea that came to me or funny, relatable piece of content. But finding what works for you in your theme of life or your specific stage of life and making it work into your system as well.
I think that's so key what you just said in regards to making it work for you, finding what works on your level, because a lot of people try to force themselves into what they see everybody else do. If they see Gary Vee posting every day, they say, I could be like Gary Vee. Gary Vee got like 35 people and a half working for him, posting and scheduling and doing everything. So it's you got to realize you can't compete sometimes with certain other individuals. You should be focused on what you're capable of doing in regards to that. So I love the fact that you mentioned that. In regards to my aspect of that, because you shared that you post to the feed 4 days a week, and I kind of do the same as well in regards to my posting on Instagram. I also do it a lot in regards to IG stories. I post once a day, and then I post to my broadcast channel. I have 2 broadcast channels, and I post to each one of them twice a week. It's a lot going on. It's a busy schedule, but I try to stay consistent with it all, because my idea is that if I show up in some way, shape, or form, I'm helping to build brand awareness. My content is going out there. It's going to reach at least one person. I'm not looking to go viral. I'm looking to impact somebody with my information, with what I'm able to share, as whether it's my experience through my content or maybe the way I said something. If I could impact somebody, then I think that counts as a win. And you kind of mentioned something there, Meagen, in regards to losses. And I've always said it's a W and an L, but the L stands for lessons. I never look at it as a loss. I'm trying to learn from each and every one of these moments, whether it's, it's that post that nobody really saw. I look at it as, hey, what can I do different and how can I improve? But I can't do that if I'm not being consistent. If I'm not being consistent, then I'm posting once a week. I'm not putting in the reps like Tiffany stated, and I'm not learning. I'm not growing from that at all. So my consistency is pivotal towards this little app that I have on my phone that I like to use, just called Notes. And it's the most simplest thing that I have. I just pretty much outline all of those posts that I just said that I do, whether it's on broadcast channel, the feed posts, reels, all of that. I literally list it out on my notes, and I have a little check mark. I enjoy hitting that check mark knowing that I finished it. I did it just a couple of hours ago when I posted a reel before this live. And it's like, all right, great, done. On to the next task. Something as simple as that keeps me consistent. It keeps me moving forward, and I look forward to knocking off that check mark. But kind of in the same realm as Meagen said, you got to find what works for you. Maybe the Notes app.
Yeah. I love Notes though. Notes I use for everything in life at all times.
Yeah.
It's like, even though I don't even write captions in Notion, I write captions in Notes and then paste them into Notion. There's something about Notes that,
I
you have an idea and you write it down and you always it's just so perfect.
Or to copy and paste it, because if you write it on the Mac, then on the phone, it's already there, so you can just copy and paste it. It's so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best Apple hack.
I got
different tools, different to the process. I love that. That's a great way to look at it.
I got a shout out. Those are just a few tips that we've all just shared in regards to how to stay consistent. They're all different and they all work effectively for each and every one of us. But we all found our own very thing, and that's just kind of the way that it's going to work, and it's how it should.